Jay-Z.
Because of the bomb scare. Does anybody know who's standing with me up here? We got hands going. Look at that. Wow. Aaron, who is this? The bishop. Yes, this is Bishop Laverty, everybody. And Bishop Laverty called us the other day and wanted to come here to Champlain to see how we were all doing. So I'm not going to talk at all. I'm just going to introduce Bishop Laverty. Bishop, thank you for your concern and care, and we welcome you to St. Mary's. I'm sorry it's like this, but here you go.
Well, thank you, Father. Hello, everyone. Yes, as Father said, and some of you already know, I'm the bishop of the diocese. I live over at the other side of our state, near Ogdensburg. I live in Ogdensburg. And I wanted to come over and just be with you, because this has not been an easy time, has it? No, I know that. I bet some of you still don't have any heat at home, huh? How many still don't have heat? Put up your hands. The ones who still do not have any heat. Yeah, some of you still don't. And all of you didn't, right? How cold it was. Some of you had to go to shelters. No? Some did. Yeah. Well, I wanted to come over and be with you. You know, it's not easy for us to face something that's difficult, like the ice storm. It isn't easy. But one of the things we can do when we face trouble, no matter what kind of trouble, what we do is we have each other. That's very important, that we have one another. That's what family is all about. That's what church is all about. And also, besides having one another, we have one other person with us, who is Jesus. And when we are together with Jesus, and when we are together with one another, we can face anything. Oh, it's not easy. I don't mean it'll be easy. But we can get through it. And I wanted to come over today, and I also have with me Sister Donna Franklin, who's over there. Sister has an office called Catholic Charities. That's an office that helps people with problems, people who are in trouble. And we came over with another priest who still can't, he's still not making his phone calls. And we wanted just to come and be with you, and to say that we love you, and that we want you to know of our care. And I want to remind you about Jesus, how he loves us. And even though he doesn't make the ice go away like that, he's with us, because he's our Lord, and our Savior, and our brother, and our friend. You know what I think I'd like to do now? I'd like to hear from some of you. I can't ask everybody because I can't stay that long. And sooner or later I hope we can get back to school. That's an added trouble this morning. That you have to be moved again and have all that kind of upset. But I'd like to hear from some of you. Maybe I would start with the 8th grade. Where's it? We have what grade? 6th grade. I would start with the 6th. I'm going to ask one person from each class to kind of share with me a little bit about the storm, what you experienced. Could I do that? Where is the 6th grade? Back here. Anyone in the 6th grade want to share with us, all of us, what you experienced in the storm? Anybody? Yeah. Well, because I don't have you in the mic, they can't hear you without the microphone. I want to ask this young man, what's your name? Arnold? Adam, can you tell us a little bit about this?
There was a lot of ice.
A lot of ice? Yeah. And what did that do?
It like made trees all over the place, all over the roads, not have power. Don't really expect it. Please don't take a picture.
Yeah. Well, what did you experience?
Yeah, no peace or anything like this house. We had
home because he had to take care of his uncle. He finally got a generator, and then he spent the night at our house, with the generator to see how much it was. And we stayed there. We have power, but we don't have cable like that.
Where's fourth? Fourth grade. Who wants to be a volunteer in fourth grade? Would you like to be? Come over here. This is one question. What's your name? Ian. All right. We'll look this way a little bit. All right. Tell us a little bit about the storm. What did you experience?
A lot of trees all over, some power lines, a lot of ice everywhere.
Do you have power?
We got a generator, so the next one, where we live, and go, and they're well, and all the cameras,
Do you warm them? Let's see. Fourth. Third grade. Where's third grade? Way back here. All right. Let's see. Who we got in third grade that wants to say something? I think I'll choose a young lady now. Equal. You know how it is. We got to always be equal. What's your name?
I'm so ice and so like trees stuff now.
Were you cold? No. What kept you with being cold? Oh, you had a generator. Now back. Back yet? Okay. Let's see. Third. Second. Where's second? Over here? Second? All right. Let's see. How about you? I wish I could ask everybody. I can't ask everybody.
I was watching the line.
Oh, you watched the heat, the electric lines, huh? Yeah. Were you cold? Oh, you had a generator?
But we had
But you have a stove? Wood stove? But you were not cold? No. Okay. All right. Let's see. That was what? Third? Second. Where's first? All right. How about you? Come along. Okay. What's your name? I forgot to ask you your name. What's your name? Tyler? Good, Tyler. All right. What is your name, my friend? Megan. Okay, Megan. Tell us a little about the blue experience.
trees fell down and
Trees fell down.
and there's ice on the line and stuff. We got electricity last night.
Oh, just last night. So you were cold. Cold?
No, we had a generator.
Had a generator. All right. Okay. There we go. Let's see. That was first grade, right? Where's kindergarten? All right. Well, let's see. We got so many wonderful, right? How about you? Would you like to come? Come over here. What's your name? Travis. Huh? Travis, can you tell us a little bit about the storm? What happened? Were you cold? Yeah? Are you still without power?
I got power last night.
Well, you got power last night. So you were cold before that? Yeah, did you have to go to a shelter? No. How come? Did you have some other way of getting warm?
Had a generator.
A generator. All right. Well, huh? And a kerosene. Okay, thank you. Yes, now do we have everyone?
Pre-K.
Where's pre-K, sister?
There's pre-K right over there.
Oh, we gotta get someone in pre-K. Where are we? Here we are. Who would like to? Anybody want to tell us about the storm? Who would Would you like to? All right, what's your name? Tell us. What's your code? You weren't code? No? Did you move some trees? Yeah. You're all right now? Is there someone here? Do we have any teachers that were without power and had to go to a shelter? Would you like to come and tell us a little bit about that? What it was like to be in a shelter?
Bottom ocean, they see it being find a shelter place, one place they can write food, and just spend the evening was there, and did fine.
Yes, a lot of people had to go to shelters. I went around visiting people in some cities that you haven't seen because they're far from here. And I visited different people, maybe over almost 1,000 I must have seen. And these people in the shelters were very grateful because there was meat and there was food. But it's still tough to be away from your home and lying on a cot. But everybody I met said thank you to the wonderful people who helped them. And if we learn anything from the ice storm, we learn how we need one another and how we can help one another. But if there's anything good, that's a good lesson to learn. Sister, perhaps you have something else to say.
She got her power back. We have most of the teachers still has no power.
You still have no power.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. Pray all will go well. Tell us a little bit about no power. Well, how are you surviving?
We have a wood furnace and we have a generator also.
Yeah, good. Okay. Could I invite Sister Donna and Monsignor Murphy to come up so that we can meet them? Sister Donna, maybe you would like to say a few words to that. Sister Donna heads what we call Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities really is a group of people across our diocese that reach out and help people in trouble, not only during an ice storm, but all through the year. And we have people everywhere, in Ogdensburg, and in Malone, and Plattsburgh, and Tupper Lake, and Watertown, and Ogdensburg. Yeah. Sister, why don't you say a few words to them?
We're very happy to be here with you this morning. We know that all of you have been through a really hard time, and that for some of you the hard time is still continuing, that you're still cold, you still can't cook the way you used to, or watch your TV shows or cartoons because you can't get the TVs on, or you don't have a channel for your videos. So it's hard. And one thing I'd like to say to you is that during this time, you might be feeling a little cranky, you might be feeling a little more tired, and you're maybe being a little more rambunctious, you're a little crankier at home with your families, and your parents might be a little tired, that everybody needs to try to work together, to play games, to do things that you can do when you don't have TV. Can somebody tell me something you can do when you don't have TV? How about here? What can you do? That's good. You can play games. Did anybody, show me your hands, anybody play cards with your family? Yeah. Okay. How many people play like Candyland or wanted Monopoly? All right. So you're
Okay, Bishop Laverty, usually when I bump into you along the way, we're in more pleasant circumstances.
Yes. Well, that's true, and yet we have to be with one another in the good and the bad. And I'm glad that even in the midst of all of this hardship and devastation, we can be together, and I can be among you all and bringing at least a word of comfort and hope and strength. And through Catholic Charities, we really want to reach out to those who are in need, and we ask people to call Catholic Charities if we can be of help.
Okay, are you going around the entire northern part of the diocese on this tour? Or what?
Today I'm trying to do a bit of the northern part, northern and eastern. Last week I was able to do some places around Ogdensburg, Canton and Potsdam and Gouverneur. And tomorrow I hope to get down to the southern part around Cape Vincent and Watertown and Clayton and Alex Bay and Antwerp and Evans Mills.
So this has kind of disrupted your schedule a little bit, right?
It has in a way. I was so planning to go down to the pro-life march tomorrow because that's a cause very dear to me in Washington, and I think it's important. Some of our people are going down. But when I looked at things yesterday, it just seemed to me that our people are still suffering here, and my presence probably is more to be among them, because to comfort them and be with them is also a life issue. So I feel badly I can't be in Washington to march with the others, but my heart is with them, and my presence and my heart should be here with our own people in this crisis.
We appreciate you coming to Champlain.
You.
I had two surprises when I showed up today. I was expecting to talk to Sister about the first day back at school, and found out we were here because of the bomb scare. Then I found out you were coming. So one was a pleasant surprise.
And it was not. Sure. I wonder if I could just introduce Sister Donna.
It looks like they want you up front.
Okay, well maybe Sister Donna, I just assured him of Catholic Charities help, but maybe you can do that, all right?
Okay, great. I'm Sister Donna Franklin from Catholic Charities, and I just want to let everyone know that Catholic Charities is here for each person in each family. Our office in Plattsburgh, the phone number is in the book, and Pam Wilson is the director. You can get in contact with her directly, or through any of the priests in the area. They can get you in contact with Catholic Charities and get help. We're here for the long haul, and we're here to pick up the slack. If people are receiving reimbursement from insurance or FEMA, but there's some part of that you don't have or you need some help with, call Catholic Charities. We're here to be with you through the long haul and to walk with you through this. And we'll be around when you discover what are some of the needs that you need. If you need food to get you through this, if you lost food, we've done things like gotten tanks of fuel for people. Whatever you need to help you to cut down your stress and meet your needs during this time, Catholic Charities will be there for you. Please give us a call.
Would it be safe, Sister, to say that you're talking to not just Catholics, to everybody?
Absolutely. Catholic Charities serves people regardless of creed, race, any denomination, anything. Everyone is welcome to come to Catholic Charities and look for our services, and we are ready and willing to help you.
I want to leave our ice storm just a moment here, and in behalf of the entire community of Champlain, congratulate you on your choice this year for the, I want to pronounce this right, Caritas Award.
Caritas Award, right.
Rita LaBombard, who runs the mission center here, has been our Mother Teresa as far as this area goes, and it's very nice to see the Catholic Charities recognizing her this year.
We were delighted to recognize Rita. We take nominations, and she was nominated by Father Riani and Father Morgan. They sent beautiful letters about Rita's work, and those letters went out to the board, and she was voted as the winner based on the information about her life work and her experience. So we were delighted to honor Rita, and we were honored that she accepted the award from us.
Yeah, she's a humble person who has never looked for the limelight, just to do good, and it was nice to see her get that award.
Great, thank you.
And I want to thank you, Sister Donna, for coming today and spreading the word about what's available, and I'm sure this visit helps the kids a little bit.
Good, and thank you for helping us to have a chance to do this. One thing that I wanted to mention is that this is a very high stress time for everyone. People are tired, they're cold, they're cranky. People are going to feel more anxious, more upset, going to have less patience with the kids. It's time to step back and think about the fact that you are under a lot of stress. And if you feel that stress is too much, to really call the mental health or Catholic Charities offices to get yourself some help with that. A lot of people don't think to ask for help and have never gone for services or counseling. this is the time when you may need some support in order to be able to keep the balance, to be able to keep your patience with your children. If you see your children are not sleeping, are extra tired or extra cranky, might be the time to reach out for some temporary and some short-term help.
All right, good advice. Thank you. Now we've just left Champlain and the Bishop, and are coming here to Goomahs Restaurant on Route 22 in West Shazy. Isn't such a giant step away from the Bishop because you have a brother-in-law who knows the Bishop fairly well.
I have Monsignor, yes, Monsignor Lawrence Dino.
And he was Chancellor of Schools for many, many years.
25 years, I think.
And we have with us here Goomah herself, but you go by another name, don't you, Goomah?
Carolyn Dino.
What was it when we chatted with you back in your old store that Bob Venn called you?
Florence.
Florence. Bob went for about 5 minutes, kept calling her Florence, and I finally had to cut in and say, Bob. I thought he'd correct himself, but he once he started, he couldn't stop.
He usually make mistakes on names.
No, he's thousands of people we interviewed. He didn't make too many mistakes.
No.
I wanted to talk to you, Carolyn, because one of the businesses that probably hasn't been adversely affected and may have been helped by all this ice storm is probably the restaurant business. How's the ice storm affected you? You were down for a week?
Yeah, just exactly a week. But now we're feeding a lot of the linemen. And then with our regular customers and people that have just been shut in and want to get out, we're really busy. It's like when we first opened. You know, we're working from 4 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night.
So you had a week to rest up though, right? You just sat home and did nothing all day?
No, we lived here. We didn't have any power, or our furnace was underwater at home. So we had maybe 15, 20 people living here in the restaurant. And then we were sending food out to people that were stranded in their homes. We did that for over a week.
So we were
kept busy.
You had a generator running then? Is that?
Mm-hmm. After we could get them. We had water in all our cellars before we could get them.
No, but up here at the restaurant, you had a generator, or how'd you keep warm?
Yeah, well, all our kitchen is gas.
Oh.
So we kept, with no fans running, our pizza oven heated this whole building. Perfect. When the fans are running, we can't even use, we can't keep warm with our furnace when the fans are running, but it was not, we had mattresses, sleeping bags, pillows all over the place. So it was an experience.
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't want to go through again.
No, it's something that our grandchildren will tell their grandchildren about, right?
Right, oh yes. Yeah.
Now, where was the official shelter? Sounds like you had a mini shelter right here. Where was the official shelter in West Shazy?
The West Shazy Fire Department. Yeah. I think at times they had 50 to 75 people there. And so we cooked back and forth. I cooked a lot of soup and different turkeys and things for them because I had a big oven here. You know, they'd bring it up and I'd fix it for them and they'd go get it. They were feeding, I think they were feeding a lot of other people too, a lot of linemen and things too that would stop by.
So being the town supervisor didn't help George get anything quicker here, did it?
No, no, not at all. We stood in line like everybody else waiting for generators. And we paid way too much for some of them, like a lot of people.
Yes, and that's a sad story that...
when you're desperate, you know, we had a lot to lose here, and we did lose a lot because we couldn't get generators for a few days. But,
we lost a lot of food then.
Yes, yeah. When we opened a week, you know, from the storm, we had to start like from scratch.
And clean everything up because you had all that food.
Clean your freezers, clean your refrigerators, scrub, start cooking from scratch. It's an experience.
Would it be safe to say that the Board of Health didn't come bother you, though? That you're pretty much...
They haven't yet. They did go to the fire station, probably because it was a shelter and they were just cooking out. We've been expecting them, but we haven't seen them. We try to stay.
And my friends on the Board of Health, that's the word a phrase we use, bother people, right? Have you ever used that phrase before?
Just when we were trying to get open.
They were bothering
We
you?
had trouble getting open. Once we're open, you know, they're fantastic. They come and, you know, they help us.
Yeah, what I meant was they didn't come here and inspect because you had food
No.
that had gone to waste. They
No.
took your judgment to...
They haven't been to inspect us since the storm, no. We expect they will, but they haven't yet.
Okay, just for a moment here while we got you on camera, tell us briefly, we're not here to do a story on your restaurant, but I know Rogers Wood Products was a part of your...
Right, they supplied all our logs. Randy Lamberton built them for us. We're really happy. We're happy with the logs. We're happy with Randy's work. My son kind of designed what we kind of wanted, Jerry.
Well, he's should be familiar with the restaurant business. He was manager for McDonald's for many
Yeah,
years.
So he manages my restaurant here, and I'm really happy with him. He's doing a great job. Yeah.
Think you'll keep him?
Yeah, another year.
Uh-oh. He may see this tape.
Unless somebody offers him more pay. Now, I'd have never been able to survive without him. He's fantastic. All I do is cook. He does everything else.
Okay, and I noticed a sign. You got something else to say? before I
No.
interrupt you? Okay, I noticed a sign as we came in thanking all the volunteers and the out-of-state workers and stuff. You want to say that personally?
Oh, yeah, they were great. I mean, they just... You can't thank them enough. They were really great people. And they're working day and night, you know. And we have no complaints about them at all.
Okay, we're 2 weeks into the storm right now. I had electricity 2 days ago. I've still got my ice storm beard, though. When the show is over, when this story is done, then my beard will come off. But right now, I'm keeping it. How's West Shays East End? Are there still a lot of people out that you know of?
Some of the back roads are still out, yeah. Like Parker Road, I'm not sure yesterday if they might have got power or part of them. And Vassar Road, I was just talking to Late over here, they're still out. So a lot of the back roads are, but they're coming every day. They're getting a few more.
Yeah, that's just it. And you get into rural areas, you pick up your customers one or two at a time as far as nice.
There was a stretch 2 or 3 miles between West Shazy and Scioto that didn't have it, and they got it last night about 5 o'clock. So, you know, all these little stretches that are out, they're mending them, and they're getting there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it takes just as much work to run 3 miles to serve 3 people as it does to run 3 miles and serve hundreds of people.
Right. And the guys, they're in here to eat and they're out. They don't waste time.
You give them an extra little bit on their plate?
We try. A lot of them are eating right in the field. We're packing lunches for them to eat. They don't even stop. Just they bring their lunches out.
I know when they were hooking up my
we did
electricity.
I think 5 or 6 different crews yesterday to go orders, and they were eating right out in the fields. You know.
Yeah, it's easier for them to eat in their truck than to drive in.
I feel bad for them though. You know, well, like today it's nice, but out in that cold and storm.
Well, they had 3 trucks for parts of my yard right after they hooked up my electricity, and it was their lunchtime, and I offered for them to come in, but said, no, we're happy in our truck. So they stayed in their truck.
Well, I guess maybe they can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
They've got to be tired, you know. They've got to be tired.
Yes, and today is the 21st, and when I talked to those guys, they said that their rooms were booked through the 7th of February. They're hoping that they could cancel some of those reservations, but
Con Edison is from New York, has been working right around our area here, you know, and they're talking maybe the weekend finishing right here in this area, but they'll move on, you know, they'll be moving on.
Alrighty, well, we appreciate Carolyn Dino talking with us, and we've got another gentleman sitting over there that might know something about the highways that we're going to chat with.
Sessons.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sure. They've been working day and night too. Hard working men.
Thanks, Carolyn.
You're welcome, Calvin. Thanks for...
So you're Zammer's brother? All right.
Yeah.
Well, he told me no.
No? Wow. He maybe knows more than I do.
How was that?
There's something I don't know.
No, I'm from Carolyn. I was in Diamond City.
We're on?
I was there 27 years, but I was superintendent 15.
Okay, well, we are back on the air.
Okay.
And this man here says he was a former highway superintendent. Is this John Roberts,
John
probably?
Roberts.
John Roberts is sitting here with us. But We're not here to talk to John Roberts because he's never had a big situation like this to deal with, I'll bet.
Never had much.
We're here to talk to this young man. What's your name, young fella?
James Sessoms.
Jim Sessoms. I call you Jim, or you want to be called James?
Everybody calls me Jim.
Jim, we bumped into you last time at the new town garage in Moores, and it was a very cheerful experience, but you had a rough 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've had it pretty rough. The boys jumped in, though, and they did a tremendous job. They had all of our roads open by Sunday after. It started on the 6th. The following Sunday, all of our roads were open except 2. And we're still not off of that. The Dragoon Road in Scioto is still plugged with electrical wires and poles, and Eagle Acres at the lake is still plugged with cables and wires. We haven't been able to get on them yet, but we're keeping a close eye on them. When they get them open, we'll be there ready to clean them off.
So, how long are you? I would say you're at a point now where you're probably back to your routine in the working days.
Yeah, but right now our roads are awful rough. Got a lot of ice on them, and I understand the county's going to bring some salt around. He never gave me a time on it. When they get the salt on there and they mill up a little bit, then we can get most of the ice off.
I was at the town office in Champlain last week, and DOT was going around asking if they needed salt and sand. Did DOT stop in? The state stop in and see you?
Yeah, they stopped in, but he never did get back with me.
They were just asking.
Yeah,
they didn't.
That's the particular thing I brought up. If we could get some.
Nice of them to ask, but it'd be nice if they delivered too.
Yeah,
right?
it sure would. It worked beautiful. But that's our biggest problem right now. Of course, we're going to have a lot of work this summer to get the brush off the side of the roads and things. But right now, it's just about impossible to do it because it's covered with ice and snow. And our roads are open. We've got them fairly well clean. And this summer, we'll have to go back and get some of the brush and stuff off of it.
Okay. Have you called on the wily veterans like Mr. Roberts here for advice in a situation like this, or are you too busy just working to go around asking questions?
No, we've been busy, awful busy. We've utilized the National Guard quite a bit. Over in Shazy, we've got about 2 or 3 streets we like having them complete, getting the brush off the side of the road. Of course, there's still a lot of brush there that the people have got to bring to the side, but we haven't set a date yet for them to bring it to the side of the road. And when we get her settled down and get her a date, then they bring it to the side of the road, and we'll take the chipper and chip it up. And we got a couple of streets done in West Shazy, and right now only have 1 crew, and they're working in Shazy right now.
Okay. Anything else, Jim, before we bid you adieu?
I'd just like to thank all the people around. They've been very, very kind and very nice to everybody.
And maybe your highway department too.
My troops they're tremendous. I think they worked about 38 hours straight when this thing hit. In fact, I had to run them home to get some rest. Of course, all of us had problems at home too. You know, we had to cope with after the roads and things. So they done us a tremendous job.
As you know, my brother Sam is the highway superintendent now in Champlain, and he had some guys that 3-4 days into this just had to take a day off, and he said, take the day off. If you're that fatigued,
that's right.
You've got to be able to work.
That was the problem with my boys. They were so fatigued, and then like I say, they're trying to cope with the problems they had at home, and the problems we had on the roads. It was quite stressful.
Yeah, the thing that the volunteers, the firemen and so on, the firefighters, I should say, that are out there volunteering, they had problems at home too, but they were still putting in those 12, 15, 20-hour days helping the community, and then still had their own problems at home that everybody else had.
Well, we tried to help everybody that had notified us. We tried to give them a hand the best we could.
All right.
All righty.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
All right. We are down the road a piece from Goomahs. We've stopped in. Some more people eating.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we're at the fire station. Who have we got here?
This is Tony Galilli. I'm West Shazy Fire Chief here. Yeah. And we're getting back to a little bit normal here now. We hope that will stay this way. they were supposed to have another storm coming. I hope that doesn't materialize, that's all.
Well, I doubt if we'll get one the magnitude we've just experienced, Tony.
I sure hope not, because this is the worst I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'll be 63, and I don't remember anything like this in my age.
You'd probably have to be as old as Wayne Dino to remember something this bad.
Well, yeah, at least that. But we had some pretty tense minutes here at the beginning when the lights went out was the biggest problem. We had to set our priorities on what we were going to do, and the main thing was trying to get our station back in under power. And what we did is we started a couple of generators, and we used one for the lights and one for the heat. And then we had a set up for the older people in the area. We had 12 people from ARC that needed housing because they didn't have any heat or anything over there. We had upwards of 60 to 70 people here a couple of nights. They were well cared for with the help that we had, using EMTs for the older people that needed medication and that kind of stuff. But it could not be a long-term housing here because we have no showers or facilities for anyone to take baths or anything like that. So after the first three nights, we tried to see what we could do about housing them someplace else, which we were able to do.
Where'd you send them?
We sent one lady to the hospital. The 12 ARC people that went to a facility in Plattsburgh, someplace after they got their power on back down there. And some of the other people, relatives took them in that had generators, and some went to Plattsburgh. I think a couple went to motels. But all in all, we got down to, probably 9 or 10 people by the 5th night, I think it was. And they were people that were not really elderly. In fact, they helped us here an awful lot. They were making coffee in the morning and helping us out with the food. We were serving probably anywhere from 150 to 250 people here during the day with the soldiers and all the linesmen that were coming through here. They made this more or less a central base because it's more central for Moore, Shazy, Altona. And they all come in here and well, we got to be known as the West Shazy Truck Stop, you know, with all the people that are coming in. But it was very good for everyone concerned. The girls did a terrific job. You know, you can't, we all want to say who's done what, but our auxiliary, you know, they were fantastic, and the firemen themselves. I have to say firefighters because we have fire
people.
We have fire people in our department now. But they, everyone together, really pulled, and we did a lot of work and got a lot accomplished. In pumping out cellars, getting food to some people, having dry ice here. We had dry ice. In fact, we still have some out there. It was a learning experience. We've never experienced anything like this before. We thought that when we had the 2 floods back in '96, that was a big thing.
Yeah, we've had the worst.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well,
can't do
but
any
that
worse.
affected only a few people along the stream lines, and then we were able to get them pumped out after the water receded. But this affected everyone, and not only with water, but power. We find now is part of our livelihood. You know, we've got to have it.
Yes.
And so, but things are starting to get back to normal.
You told me off camera that this is day 14 of since the ice storm hit, that today's the first day that you can have some kind of semblance of normalcy here at the fire station.
Yeah, it is. It is. In fact, we don't have too many people coming in and out right now. It's more or less just to use the bathroom because all of the girls had to go back to work as of today, and most of the firemen are all working. So it was really going to be hard for us to continue to feed them, which we would love to have done. But they're starting to get a little bit further north now and spreading out, and I'm hoping that they're going to find other places that they can do what we did here. We were waiting to find out if the Red Cross or JCEO is going to come in here and set up some kind of feeding station or what. But we're going to be here just so in case some of them going by have to use the bathroom or something like that, directions and that kind of thing. We can't just turn anybody away. That's not our bag.
Right.
But,
Tony, in talking to some of the other fire departments and stuff, I got the impression that maybe we should go back to the drawing board, because it seemed like there was no one entity in charge. Everybody was kind of doing their best, but nobody was coordinating anything.
Well, yes and no. We more or less had to take the initiative in our area. This is what we have to do, whether there's a fire or an ambulance call or anything like that. Anyway, the other things that get involved is if it's of magnitude where we can't handle it. We did get help from the Red Cross. They sent in cots, which we needed. As we approached a problem that we couldn't solve, we tried to find out where we could solve it. And I really have had no problems with what we've needed. Food, we more or less concentrated ourselves. We had people that were going out looking for help. People came in off the street. It's unbelievable the number of people that come in here with food. Of course, a lot of them had food in freezers that they knew was going to go bad.
So they wanted to at least put to good
brought
use.
Turkeys in here. They brought hams, and the local bakery has given us bread. We've had soda. All the different soda companies donate soda to us. So we haven't really had to go too far out. We just more or less concentrated on what we really needed. The dry ice, we got a hold of an ice egg. They brought that in. Anything that we really needed, we brought in. But as far as Central Point, I think they've been doing pretty good in Plattsburgh, because they were able to concentrate on getting the outside people in here. We had firefighters stationed here at different intervals. That was brought up because they're the ones that called for them. I didn't have to call for them. They more or less took over the widespread area as far as help is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, because they had the Army come in here, and they've helped us out an awful lot. The Red Cross, like I say, they provided the cots, but they said if there was anything else that we needed, that they would try to get it for us. So we try to more or less take care of ourselves, but the small things, or, well, big things too, that we couldn't get, we were able to get from through the Jim King's office or whatever organization we needed. So I can't really say that there hasn't been, command or whatever. I think you have to more or less depend on yourself a little bit too.
Yeah, but I just thought that, like I know in Champlain, the fire department was doing their thing, and the highway department was doing their thing, and the phone company, and everybody was, but nobody was there saying, you know, here's what you should all do, you know, so you're not duplicating what somebody else is doing. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, around here, Jim Sessoms and George Dino, of course. George is our supervisor, and Jim is our highway superintendent. Jim helped me out terrifically here for different things, and anytime he needed anything, he'd come and see me, and if I needed anything, I had his cell phone, I'd call him. The same thing with George. He would stop here periodic, and he was coordinating things for the town, more or less, in Shazy. And when I needed something, I'd call Jim. I needed a grader or something to dig people out. There was never any problem. To me, if you get too many people in command, then they're going to take and really not know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you got to have somebody on the scene.
That's right. So
yeah.
By doing this among ourselves, I think we've kept things moving around here. The streets were always plowed, and I think that everything went extremely well.
Thank God for cell phones, though.
Yeah, I guess so. They went out a couple of times on us too, though, as I understand. But they were a big help in like my getting a hold of Jim until our phone went out here.
Yeah.
When our phone went out here, well, then we were in the lurch there for communications. But we still have our radios, which we control with fire control, and they're a big help. We do a lot of communicating between ourselves. And also with the other departments. Now, if there was something in Beekmantown or Shazy that I needed, I would just jump on the radio more or less instead of the phone.
Right.
And we communicated real good together. And here again, working between Shazy, Altona, Moores, Beekmantown, we all helped each other out. One needed, like Beekman had dry ice, when we didn't. They'd call and say, well, we've got a load of dry ice down here. Well, when people come in here for dry ice, we'd send them down there. And same thing in Shazy. There was some firewood over there. People come in and needed firewood. At least we knew between ourselves what our resources were. And in doing so, the job got done.
Well, great.
So I'm just hoping that we can get back to our normal routine and
no more of this for a
no
while.
more of this for a while. That's for sure. You know?
I'd like to commend you and all the volunteers out there and all the people who get paid too, who just did that extra effort. Just a tremendous job for the North Country. And
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of our people here. I've always held them in the highest esteem before, but no more than now. And they've been wonderful with me. They've been in here and they've taken an awful lot of work off me. I know that. It shows that people working together can get a job done. When you have friction, well, then it makes it a little bit harder to get things done.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tony. Thanks for chatting with us.
No problem at all.
All right, thanks. We're trying to get a cross-section of different organizations that were affected by the ice storm, and of course one of the ones that affects us all is the mail, and we're here in West Shazy with Stan Desitel. Stan, you're the postmaster here?
Yes.
How long have you been postmaster?
About 3 years.
Now, Stan was a longtime friend of mine back from the old Sheridan days. That was a long time ago, Stan.
Long time ago.
I know there was several days in Champlain before we got any mail. What happened in the West Shazy area?
In West Shazy, we were closed starting Thursday morning when the power went out, and we reopened Tuesday morning with generator service.
So it's been operating pretty much as normal since Tuesday?
Well, Tuesday was generator, and Wednesday morning we had full power, so we've been back to normal since then.
So you had, what, 3-4 days mail buildup? Is that about
4 days, 4 days worth of mail buildup.
Whatever happened to that, neither rain, nor snow, nor sleet, nor gloom of night?
That slogan was quoted before the days of electricity. Somehow I knew you'd ask me that.
You've been asked that before, probably.
Many times.
But not on camera.
No.
Is there a new slogan?
We haven't come up with one yet.
There will be one coming soon, though. Your personal, were you without electricity at all, Stan?
Yes, I was, for 5 days at home.
We got ours back 2 days ago, so now, I've heard it referred to out here several places and even on TV as a war zone. Now, you're somebody who has been to war and know what a real war zone is. Does that bother somebody like you who knows what war is to have something like this referred to as a war zone?
No, absolutely not. The trees did look like they got hit by a bomb, though.
Yes, it just, and the tops of just about all the trees up.
They're gone.
They're gone. So it's going to be a whole new landscape when we all get back to normal. Have you heard of any of the other post offices did? Or?
All about the same as here. Altona was out a little longer than I was, and I guess Champlain was out for a little bit longer than I was too. Everybody seems to be back to normal now in this area.
Okay, now you deliver, West Shazy delivers how wide an area? Going to Beekman Town, I know? And
We deliver from the Turnpike to the lake and from Beekman Town to Scioto.
that's quite an area then.
It's like 1,600 deliveries.
So this is a fairly good sized post
Fairly
office?
good size, yes.
Okay, anything else, Stan?
Nothing here.
He's a man of few words, but a lot of action, right? Been talking.
There's two trailers together.
All right, it's been several days since we've had a chance to talk to a member of the National Guard, and we have today with us.
Captain Chuck Crosby from Charlie Company, 2nd 108th Infantry.
Where are you from, Chuck?
Well, I live in Frankfort, just outside of Utica. My unit's from Gloversville and Saratoga and Glens Falls.
Okay, I think the last guy I talked to was in Champlain. He was from he was a state trooper who I think he was a lieutenant. He came up with a unit from about that area, but he was down around the New York City area himself, where he lived.
Okay, yeah, it'd probably be Lieutenant Gagno.
Could be, I can't.
Yeah, he's from Alpha Company. He's a good man.
Good man, huh? Any that aren't good men in your group?
They're all good men.
How many you got?
Up here right now, I have 52 men. Originally, we came up with 76. We sent some back because they're starting their college semester.
Okay, so you have that many that are students?
Yes, we do. Guard pays 100% tuition for state schools, so you get a lot of college students.
Okay, you don't look like you're that far out of college yourself. Are you and still in college, or are you out of school?
No, I'm 31 years old.
31 years old.
Got
Well,
13 years active service.
You look like just a youngster, if you don't mind me telling you that.
I appreciate that. It was only a couple years ago they stopped carding me.
That's because you stopped going into the bars, right?
That's true.
Okay. What's your group doing now, Captain?
Well, mostly we're clearing debris from people's homes and front yards, chopping it up and feeding it into chippers to get it out of here. And initially, when we came up here, it was a lot of search and evacuation and a lot of support for the power line crews. But they're pretty much on top of the search missions. They've searched all the county, and the power line crews have a large percentage of power back up. So we're just concentrating on debris removal right now.
Now that you've done the search, are you still going back door to door to check on the people, or is there somebody else handling that part?
That mission's been turned over to the U.S. Forestry, the Forest Rangers, and they're doing that. If they need help, they've been requesting some additional people to help them, but they have the command and control of that mission.
Okay. On this tape, or maybe the other tape I had maybe an hour and a half ago on the tape, but there was a forest ranger to my home and somebody else from the health department. And I asked them at that point, this was over the weekend, if they knew if they were duplicating anything you guys have done. So in the meantime, I guess things have coordinated, and so they're not going somewhere and you guys showing up half an hour later checking on the same people, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So it's mainly going into the backyards of people's homes and pulling out the branches and that type of debris. Is that what you're doing?
Well, mostly the front yards and clearing that. So, to get on top of the debris removal and help the telephone line crews and everyone get in. The backyards, after we clear everyone's front yard and we're still up here, we can go back and continue debris removal.
We're 14 days into the ice storm. Have you been told how much longer you might be here?
That's still up in the air. We're not sure at this point. I know they'll be rotating some units home and some units will still remain up here. But right now, no end date.
Any fatigue setting in? Guys getting antsy to get home and get this over with?
Well, sure, the soldiers miss their families, but they know the mission they're doing up here is important, and they want to make sure the job's done right.
As I was mentioning in Champlain, being here there's a lot of worse places you could probably be sent in the world, and with a lot worse missions than this, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to like to tell us, Chuck?
No, our soldiers have enjoyed having a chance to come up here and help out.
Well, I tell you, the whole northern tier has been, North Country's been proud and happy to have you guys show up. It's like you're probably, even though you're 31, you're still a little young to remember those old cavalry, those old movies there. The cavalry would show up at the last second to rescue the people, and that's kind of what we expected when you guys showed up to hear the bugle sounding, and here's the cavalry to our rescue. But you've been a godsend, and everywhere you look, people are just saying nice things about the people who've come up here to help us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And men appreciate hearing that.
Thank you. We are still in the Chazy Fire Department, and things are probably relatively quiet now compared to what they have been, Gerard.
Yes, they're beginning to shape up. We're back to normal now.
We're talking with Gerard Dupree, and Gerard, do you have a title in the fire department, or just a firefighter? What do you?
I have 3 titles.
3 titles. That's pretty darn good.
President, Assistant Secretary, Captain of the Fire Police.
So you don't do much with the firemen?
Not much. No, not much.
Now, you're the only one in today. How long has it been here on this? Today's the 21st. How long has it been that things. I saw Randy Lemire last night, and I think he said yesterday was the first day he was able to go back to work, trying to make a living without, not that he hadn't been working, but not making a living at it. How long has it been since things have quieted down here in Chazy?
Monday and Tuesday. See, today's Wednesday. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday. And yesterday we had very few calls. We did a welfare check. We brought a woman some water, some carbon monoxide detectors. But she was all right. Today, you're the first one in today.
And while I was here, the National Guard showed up. You said did a welfare check. Now, when I think of a welfare check, I think of something coming in the mail that you can cash. What's a welfare check?
Originally, we called the National Guard. We got a hold of the National Guard for a welfare check, going house to house, check on people, see if they needed something, see if they're all right. And they did a good job. Then a couple of days later, we ordered or called for another group to do another welfare check. In other words, a follow-up. Plus, we did some of our own. And it worked out real well. It saved us a lot of work because our manpower was limited. I mean, some of us can't do too much. Like me, I answer the phone. Some were taking care of their own homes, plus the neighbors' homes.
Mm-hmm.
Some were working, and we did the best we could.
You said all you did was answer phones. You answered phones 5 or 6 hours a day here, right?
I worked average about 7 hours, or for I think I worked 10 days. Some of the fellows worked 10 or 12, 14 days. We had one fellow here. We named him our disaster coordinator. There, he went 2 days without sleep.
Who was that?
Dave Domine. He did a fantastic job. Him and Randy Lemire both did a fantastic job of running the show.
Yeah, we're a little hesitant to start naming names because so many people did so much that we just can't possibly name them all because there's no way to keep track. Everybody's too busy working to keep track of who's doing what.
The National Guard worked real well. We had some volunteers. We had a lady right across the river who came, brought her mother over to the shelter. Of course, at that time we started a shelter. And she stayed and did our cooking. And everybody raved over her cooking. And then unfortunately Sunday we had to take her mother to the hospital, but she had a little health problem. But anyway, the school emptied the cafeteria and brought what food they had down here. Aris Lab emptied one or both of their stores and split some of the food amongst the departments or wherever there was a shelter. We didn't keep our shelter that long because we didn't get sanctioned by the Red Cross due to the unfamiliar of what to do, So anyway, moved everybody to West Chazy, and I guess at that time they moved everybody from there to the KC in Champlain. And then even some went to Cedar Hedge. And consequently, we fed our men, the visiting fire departments, and the visiting paramedics. We had paramedics from North Carolina here for, I believe, well over a week. They left Monday morning, and I think we had 4 different fire departments from down south come up and give us a hand. One complete company came up, and then I believe it's 3 other companies came up. Helped answer a few fire calls, a few ambulance calls. So everybody helped.
Well, this is the thing. All these volunteer fire people, fire and rescue, have normal lives to live. And in the normal course of a year, you volunteer enough hours that the accidents, the little emergencies here and there, the heart attacks. So you have to do all that stuff and still try to cope with this emergency and then take care of what happens at your own home because your home is in the middle of an emergency too.
That's right. I have an air-conditioned roof at my place.
A tree come through?
Limbs come through. I have 5 holes. And everybody had their troubles. Generator troubles, water troubles, whatever.